That morning, I stood at the edge of what used to be my dock, now just a pile of splintered boards floating on the water, blackened and half sunk. The HOA had called it a necessary demolition. I called it theft. And right there in the middle of the wreckage, I realized something. They thought I was just another quiet homeowner they could bully into silence. They had no idea who they were dealing with. My name's Evan McMichael. I'm 37, a former county construction engineer and the guy who literally helped draw the first zoning map for Lakewood Shores, the same neighborhood now trying to erase my property line. My house sits right on the lake, built by my grandfather back in the 60s. He was the kind of man who measured a day's worth by how much wood he shaped with his hands, not how many signatures he gathered in a boardroom. And the dock, our dock, was his masterpiece. Everything was peaceful until our new HOA president showed up. Her name, Karen Hernandez. You can already imagine the type. Mid-50s, perfectly ironed pantsuits, clipboard always in hand, the kind of smile that says, "I control you, and I like it." Within a week of being elected, she'd started issuing fines left and right. Someone's shutters were too beige, another guy's mailbox was unauthorized design. She was on a crusade for control, and the lakefront was her next conquest. Then, one morning, I found the letter. Notice, a violation unapproved dock structure encroaching on communal water line. Must be removed within 7 days. It was signed with a dramatic flourish, President Hernandez. I almost laughed. That dock had stood there for over 50 years, listed in every county survey since the Nixon administration. I even had the stamped deed showing it was on my land. I marched straight to the HOA office maps and documents in hand. She didn't even look up when I walked in. "Mr. McMichael," she said, "the rules have changed. The HOA owns 20 feet of shoreline buffer now. Your dock crosses into it." "That's impossible," I told her. "I'm the one who digitized that shoreline map for the county 5 years ago." She gave me that cold, patronizing smirk. "Well, perhaps your records are outdated. Around here, we follow our regulations." That's when I realized this wasn't about maps. It was about power. Within days, HOA workers came and drove metal stakes into my yard. New boundary markers, they called them. They spray-painted the grass, put up orange fencing, and taped a big red sign to my dock that said, "Illegal structure." My neighbors watched from their porches, pretending not to see. And me, I stood there with my coffee, pretending not to shake with anger. At first, I tried to stay calm. File an appeal, present evidence, handle it like a rational person. But logic doesn't work with people who thrive on control. Every time I sent documentation, the HOA lost it. Every complaint disappeared. Then came the harassment, $200 fines for improper fence color, a citation for offensive lawn signage because I posted a small, private property sign. They even removed my mailbox one afternoon, claiming it didn't match the neighborhood's visual harmony. Every knock on the door, every new envelope from the HOA was another reminder that I was being strangled by paperwork and petty power plays. I started doubting myself. Maybe I had missed some new zoning update. Maybe I was too stubborn, too attached to the past. My girlfriend Emily tried to reason with me. "Evan, maybe it's not worth the fight. You can rebuild somewhere else." I stared at the lake outside our window, the reflection of my grandfather's dock posts still poking from the water. "If I walk away," I said quietly, "they win, and the next person won't stand a chance." Still, that night, sitting in the dark with a pile of old documents scattered on the floor, I felt defeated. One man against a board of bullies. It felt hopeless. Then fate threw me a bone. I was at the county office one evening trying to get certified copies of my deed when a guy in maintenance gear recognized me. "You're McMichael, right?" "The dock guy," he said. His name was Miguel Rodriguez, a former survey tech. "They did the same thing to me," he whispered. "Fired me when I refused to approve a forged boundary report. Guess who ordered it? Hernandez Construction, her husband's company." He pulled a flash drive from his pocket. "This has the email chain. The HOA's been redrawing property lines to sell parts of the lakefront to developers." I swear I felt my pulse skip. The dots connected instantly, the fake maps, the rushed rule changes, the sudden shoreline expansion. They were carving up the neighborhood for profit. Miguel looked terrified, handing me that drive. "You didn't get this from me," he muttered. That night, I stayed up till 3 a.m. comparing the old zoning overlays I'd archived with the new ones the HOA posted. Their map shifted the communal boundary by exactly 18 feet right through my property and 4 others. It wasn't sloppy corruption. It was precision theft. I knew I had them, but proof means nothing if no one sees it. So I waited. The HOA's quarterly meeting came up a week later, and I made sure everyone in the neighborhood was there. I walked in wearing my old county badge and a calm I didn't feel. Hernandez sat at the front like a queen on her throne, tapping her pen. "Mr. McMichael," she sighed. "If you're here to complain again about your dock—" "Oh, I'm not complaining," I interrupted. "I'm reporting a crime." You could hear the air leave the room. I connected my laptop to the projector before she could stop me and pulled up 2 maps side by side, one the official county registry, one the HOA's revised lake buffer plan. The color-coded differences screamed fraud. "See this," I said, pointing. "This red zone didn't exist 6 months ago. Yet somehow the HOA's new map transfers ownership of 4 lakefront parcels, including mine, to a company called Hernandez Development, LLC. Her face went pale. Now, I continued flipping to the email thread Miguel had given me. Here's her signature approving the transfer. Sent from her HOA account, time-stamped 3 days before the board voted on it. A few board members started whispering. Someone in the back gasped. I hit play on the video security footage from a public records request showing Hernandez meeting with 2 contractors by the lake pointing directly at my property. She shot to her feet. "This is outrageous. You can't just—" "Forgery," I said calmly, sliding a notarized deed across the table. "This is the original boundary filed and sealed by the county. Every inch of that dock is mine." She lunged to grab the papers, but before she could, the door opened and 2 sheriff's deputies walked in. Miguel followed behind them, holding another folder. "Karen Hernandez." One of the deputies said, "You're under investigation for falsification of public records fraud and unlawful property transfer." The room erupted. Neighbors murmured, some furious, some stunned. Hernandez turned to me, her face twisted with rage. "You think this is over?" she hissed. "You just ruined this community." "No," I said, my voice steady. "I just saved it." The deputies escorted her out while cameras from a local news crew who I'd tipped off that morning captured every second. For the first time in months, I breathed freely. A week later, the county froze all HOA activities pending investigation. The board members resigned one by one, claiming they had no knowledge of Hernandez's scheme. The developer deal was canceled. I stood again by the lake where it all began. The water was still quiet. My grandfather's old dock was gone, but I rebuilt it myself, board by board, just like he had taught me. No celebration, no champagne. Just the sound of wood meeting water and the wind brushing past the flags I'd reattached to the post. A new neighbor stopped by, once looking uneasy. "Hey, you're the guy who took down the HOA, right?" he asked. "Aren't you worried they'll form another one someday?" I smiled, tightening the last bolt. "Let 'em try. Nobody's afraid of rules, just the people who abuse them. Because sometimes standing your ground isn't about the land you lose, it's about proving you were right to defend it."